I'm building my CT5-V Blackwing into a 1600 horsepower monster and taking you guys along for the ride every step of the way. In today's video, we've got the massive Magnuson Supercharger fitted, and I'm installing Kooks Headers to make this car really scream. Then we're gonna take the car for a drive and show you what the experience is like behind the wheel. Guys, I am so excited. Today we are making the Blackwing extremely fast and extremely loud. Magnuson has cooked up something ridiculous under the hood, and today we're also installing Kooks Headers. Here is a little sneak peek before we take the car out for a drive later in the day. Magnuson's massive supercharger, custom made for the CT5-V Blackwing, capable of 1600 horsepower. Now, one thing I do love about the Blackwing's exhaust is the shape of it, as well as the fact that it has valves. So we're not replacing the muffler section at the rear or the tips, because I love the way that is. We're taking the Blackwing over to my friend's shop, Speedhouse Automotive. Huge thanks to them for letting me use their lift and try to do this install myself. We'll see how it goes. We're gonna do some before and after clips with a decibel reader, both inside the car accelerating as well as startup and revving. Startup, 83 decibels. Peak of 92 decibels stock. Just got to Speedhouse Automotive. First time seeing the Kooks Headers and midsection of the exhaust setup. This thing actually looks like an art piece. The headers are inside this box. I'm so excited to take this apart. This is basically the first American car I've owned and built. I had the GT500, and I guess the Tesla Model S Plaid is an American car technically, but I've heard of Kooks for years. I know they make good stuff, but I'm very excited to finally put them on my car. So here are the headers themselves. They actually look so cool. I took another thumbnail picture with the rear section of the exhaust, but I'm gonna have to scrap that because this looks like, I mean, that's insane. Thankfully, Kooks comes with a very, very detailed installation guide with a whole bunch of photos, because if I'm being honest with you guys, I don't really know how to install headers on a car. I did the downpipes on my Supra, and that was kind of a mess, but hopefully, with these instructions, it should be a bit easier. And if not, we got the guys from Speedhouse to help me out, so thank you. All right, step one is to disconnect the battery. This is slowly just becoming me watching them do all the work. So right now we're taking all of the under tray components off. We're gonna drop the exhaust because we actually do have to make a cut in the exhaust at 13 inches away from the muffler. So we've got some lines right here. That's gonna be intense. Next step, we're taking off the rear diffuser so that we can get the exhaust off, cut the rear section of the mufflers off. The burnt rubber just caked on the rear diffuser is pretty hilarious. Been having some fun with this thing. Rear diffuser pulled off the car so we can get the exhaust off. Looks kind of crazy. I wish I got a carbon one. So we've pulled the full rear section of the exhaust, the OEM section, off the car. Get a good look at it. The stock OEM mufflers with the valves. I want to leave the valves so that when I exit my neighborhood, I don't piss off everybody in the surrounding area. So as I said, step one, disconnect the battery. Step two, let your friends who actually know what they're doing do everything else. Making some good progress. I will say Kooks gave very, very detailed instructions with a whole bunch of pictures, so I imagine pretty much any weekend warrior with some tools could get this done. Obviously, if you do it at a shop, it's a lot easier, and having a lift is ideal. So we've got the spark plugs and the ignition coils pulled out, and look at the difference between how neat it is on this side versus this is more of my style over here. Yo, right side header coming out.
You need to chill with that, Parker. Come back in like 2 minutes. To the roof, Batman.
There we go, passenger side header coming out. Oh, let's go. That is actually really small.
Super
wow.
small.
Wow, look at the difference between the OEM headers and the Kooks headers. That's crazy. The collector's down low for that even sound, yeah. But here is the full Kooks headers and exhaust system laid out. This thing is a work of art, especially compared to, look, this is the factory setup here. The piping just looks so much higher quality. now we got the driver's side header removed. You can see pretty deep into the engine bay with the headers removed. Getting the O2 sensors put on the headers now. All right, we're editing part of the video right now. We got a little station set. What is that? What is that? Oh, shoot. All right, well, apparently you can't stick your phone into this little pocket or it calls 911. The headers sound crazy already. We've got the driver's side header installed. The passenger side looks like there's a little less clearance. It's kind of hard to get it in there. We've got both the headers installed, getting the spark plugs and the ignition coils put back in now. Attaching the rear section of the Kooks exhaust to the OEM muffler with these clamps here. Here we go. Final stages, installing the full exhaust. I wanted to get some interior noise comparisons as well, so I filmed this before I did anything with the headers or the exhaust. Man, this thing still sounds really good stock. By the smile on my face, but these are by far the best two mods you can do for the Blackwing. This has quickly become my favorite four-door car I have ever had on the channel, and it's got some stiff competition. The E39 M5, the E63, the Cullinan, the S-Class, but it's so engaging and so raw, and now with the extra power and that sound, it's just outrageous. Let me roll down the window. And the downshifts are just world-ending. I'm so in love with this car. Kooks, you absolutely cooked with this one. And Magnuson, let's talk about the Magnuson Supercharger. So Magnuson developed a new supercharger for the CT5-V Blackwing with my car. So originally, we were just gonna do a supercharger for my car and then decided, why would we not bring it to everyone? So if you have a Blackwing, both of the mods that I've done on my car so far, the Magnuson Supercharger as well as the Kooks headers and exhaust are available for your car. And one of the coolest parts of the Magnuson Supercharger, in my opinion, is it's kind of twofold. The sky's the limit in terms of power. It's capable of 1,000 plus, upwards of 1,600 horsepower at the wheels. So really, the Supercharger is never going to be the limiting factor. It's basically whether you want to build the motor, cam the car, tune it really aggressively, etc. But if you leave the stock tune and unlock the ECU, you can have a carb-compliant car on the factory ECU tune and gain 100 wheel horsepower with the Supercharger. So you put it on, nothing's tuned whatsoever, it still meets emission standards, and you gain 100 wheel horsepower. Then you add the Kooks headers. I'm not exactly sure on the horsepower figures, but there's some definite power gains as well. And it just, oh my God, it creates a monster in this car. So I'm gonna let you listen to it for a little bit because it's too good. I need to just shut up. the downshifts again. Holy moly. So I've got a link in the description below to both products. I've actually got a discount code for the Kooks Headers. If you want a nice little discount, tell them I sent you. I'm in love with that mod. I mean, not like the CT5-V Blackwing sounded bad stock or was slow. In fact, it's a very loud car for a stock car, and it's very fast for a stock car. But for those of you who are horsepower and sound freaks like myself, I just can't imagine leaving a car stock, especially with this much untapped potential left on the table. And both mods kind of just transformed the car entirely. I did the Supercharger first. The driving experience, similar throttle response, maybe even a little bit better throttle response, super linear, and you just get that extra 100 wheel horsepower pre-tune. And then the extra sound is just, oh, it's so addicting. We're gonna have to do some flybys. But then, I mean, the plan with this car is to really, really tune it. So with the Supercharger and without the headers, it was making about 710, a little over 700 wheel horsepower, which is a lot. But we're gonna go way, way higher than that. I'm hoping the first time I tune it, the first round of tune, when we get the throttle body on, the intake, and a couple other components, hopefully in the 900 to 1,000 horsepower range, then we'll do cams and some more supporting mods and get over 1,000 horsepower, because why the heck not? I'm gonna need a better tire at that point. Now, I will say, shockingly, with the 4S's and this current setup, it actually, I mean, it doesn't grip in first gear whatsoever, but it does put the power down a lot better than you'd think it would. And it has the 7-stage traction control. So here, we'll go in race 1, it'll lose traction. The 7-stage traction control allows you to customize the slip angle, both in a straight line and around corners, and it makes this car just a dream to drive. And it's so good in the corners. I'm gonna do a supplementary video where I really talk about what this is like to drive. I'll do a POV drive, but oh my God, I'm in love with this car. I like really love this car. It's to the point where all I pretty much do is waste gas in it. Once I got the headers put on, I just took a whole bunch of friends for a ride aimlessly in circles just to listen to the exhaust. You got to downshift about 1 trillion times because it just sounds so good. But yeah, that's really the only downside of this car is you're going to burn through a lot of fuel. But other than that, man, Magnuson, thank you so much. Let's get Magnuson to 230,000 followers on Instagram. Seriously, guys, they hooked it up with this and it's transformed the car. And if you have a Blackwing, I mean, it's a requirement to get these two mods. I think if you don't, you're shooting yourself in the foot. It really does open up an incredible car from the factory, but it takes it to a level that I've driven a lot of stuff and I'm pretty convinced this is the best 4-door sports sedan ever made. And now with the mods, it's peak. It's peak. So with that, I'll give you some more sound clips and I'll see you guys next video. I'm so freaking pumped on this.